Welcome to a transfer special 5-Trap fam. I'm AJ and this is Marc joining me on a really packed day of news. So I had to bring him in to help me break it all down. So first up is kind of really, I think something that really tugged at our heartstrings in Anton Walkes and Five Stripes OG being brought back to the team. And he comes on a permanent transfer from Portsmouth FC. And you know, he's been playing a little bit more of fullback and defensive midfielder, but now, he's been brought back for the 2020 season. Unfortunately, there's no more Brandon Vasquez, so the Branton romance is gone.
I know, right? Does the move still hold up? No, but actually, I don't think this is just a sentimental move, though. I mean, like you mentioned, he's playing more fullback, more defensive mid. I personally don't think he's coming back to be a full-time starter, but I think he could prove to be valuable depth. Atlanta United love its young, versatile players. I think Anton Walkes certainly fits that bill. Yeah, and
when he first came into Atlanta United in the 2017 season, he was more of a center back, and he came on loan from Tottenham.
Right.
And well, in that respect, he didn't really play much center back for us. He ended up playing more right back. I think he had a couple starts at center back.
At one point, it seemed like he'd won the job.
Yeah, pretty much over Tyrone Mears, who was, as we all remember, the assist person for the very first goal in Atlanta United history. But then, you know, he kind of fell off a little bit, and Anton Walkes won the job. And I mean, for Anton Walkes, in terms of what he provides, he's a guy that I think provides that aerial ability. He's quite a big dude, and that versatility, and he's decent on the ball, likes to probably play more long ball in terms of his delivery. But I mean, playing all those positions definitely will kind of really round out our depth. So that's a very, I think, kind of shrewd move. We don't know the specifics on the transfer fee yet, but there was a transfer fee. So
maybe it's a Pogba-esque kind of move.
But who knows? But anyway, let's move on from that. And LGP.
Update on LGP from Carlos Bocanegra. Actually, he said that nothing is finalized with Leandro Gonzalez Perez. If LGP is training with Cholos, quote, that's news to me.
Yeah, which is very, very interesting. If he's training with Cholos, it's like, I mean, I think most of social media, I think, saw that he was in Cholos training gear already, and maybe in the
kit release,
the kit reveal video as well. They didn't show his face, but it was pretty much like
that was a very LGP type of.
He was his arm and tattoos and his wedding ring and all that. It was like. That looks like him.
Very odd times. But I mean, it seems like this deal is like 95% done, and it's just cross some T's, dot some I's.
Yeah, something is holding it back, but the fact of the matter is that Cholos have a game on Friday, and it very might well, when you watch this video, he already is announced as a Cholos player.
Right.
But it is very, very perplexing because we're filming this on a Thursday night, full disclosure, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like, really, it's on Friday night. The game is on Friday night.
At the time you're watching this, by 9 o'clock tonight, LGP may be in Cholos lineup. Like,
I mean, he might, he really might show up in the squad at any point. It's like, it's really strange. So anyway, we'll move on from that. And also, Bocanegra, he gave a whole presser to a bunch of the media and basically went through just note after note on player or coach or whichever. So
covered a lot though.
And so we're here to break it all down for you. But
that's why you brought me in.
Exactly. But Dion Gressel, he told the media that he is expected to report to camp. And that's amidst all the, pay the man hashtags. And basically, Gressel still has not signed an extension.
Right. But the team did pick up his option, so he's under contract.
Right. And so, he is expected to show up. And, I think he is a person that will honor that, even if he is a little bit disgruntled at the moment.
Yeah, it's one of those things though. Like, would he be willing to hold out? I think that's something that would, be his leverage if he were to exercise that. But yeah, he's saying he's going to show up to camp. So
yeah, and Bocanegra has said in the past that. At least a couple weeks ago, that they would be open to moving Julian Gressel if need be, and so it really is a very kind of confusing time for Gressel Mania fans. And,
that's one I wouldn't even bet on. Like, I don't even know at this point.
Right, it really could be 50-50 at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't bet. Yeah, that's really what it is. But moving on from that.
Yeah, another player that came up was George Bello, and this direct quote from Bocanegra: "It's a big year for George. We will be bringing in some competition at the left back position, but saying that, we have high hopes for George."
Yeah.
I think that falls in line pretty much with what I expect. I think in terms of how Atlanta United is approaching this offseason, I do, still expect us to sign a left back. Maybe
could that be Santiago Arzamendi? And that really is the question is, he has been rumored to be a person that is coming to Atlanta United confirmed, and it's just a matter of if it's going to be official or not, right? And so there's multiple sources that are confirming it. It's just a matter of, there's a lot of kind of rumors that have not been official.
Right.
And we're just all waiting.
one of the concerns I think that people have about bringing a left back is blocking George Bello. But with the schedule looking like, the schedule is going to be identical, it seems like, to what it was last season. A lot of games on short rest, especially for Atlanta United, like was covered in the podcast. And so, having two options at one position, I think is not bad. And for Bello, I think it alleviates some pressure, but at the same time, we expect him to play more this season, I think.
Yeah, and I think you could also play them both at the same time, like I said in the podcast as well.
Yes.
So yeah, there really is some flexibility if you bring in another guy as well. So next up is that on those players that were linked this winter, he said, "We hope to bring in 3 to 4 players and to be able to announce those signings in the next week or so." So yeah, stay tuned. It's gonna be a hella busy next week, and some change probably. I would imagine that they don't want to be traveling while they're announcing some of the stuff, but it might end up being that way if it takes a little bit longer for some of the business to get done. Because if you've been reading The Athletic, there's been some articles on how difficult it is to get some of the transfers done.
Oh yeah.
It's not as cut and dry as we all think.
Divorce bills and all that.
There's all that could be on the line in terms of make or break in terms of deals. Yeah. So additionally, what's going on with the midfield?
With the midfield, he says on whether or not a midfielder could be among the new signings, that could be the case. Yeah. So not revealing too much, but at the same time, I think it's pretty clear that they're looking at a midfielder.
Right, and I think someone that can provide a little bit of what Nagbe brings, and someone maybe else that can also kind of cover what Nagbe also brought as well. Maybe not in just one player. Because obviously that would be very, very difficult and would probably cost like a DP, honestly. But in terms of that, they've said in terms of the CBA, they don't have any clarity on what the new CBA will entail. Of course, they're still negotiating, and that deadline is January 31st. But that they're still operating under the old CBA for now. I think that would be a little unwise, probably, but I think you kind of try to make the moves maybe in anticipation. But I think. For them to only operate like that, I think maybe it's just lip service.
I'm hoping, he knows a little more than what he's letting on. You know what I mean? And then it also seems like there's not going to be too much upheaval. There was that rumor about an adjustment to the DP rule, which doesn't seem like much of an adjustment as much as it is a restriction. But that's neither.
It really is, because it basically would say that they would encourage teams to only have young DPs, and if they get older than that, well, what happens to them? So it's really a big question. Like, do you just have to sell the guys that are over in age that they're gonna, kind of denote as that's the cutoff? So it's gonna be very strange. Hopefully they, talk through it all a little bit more.
I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, so if you have a subscription to Athletic, you can read an article about that as well
from Sam Stechgall. But yeah, anyway, so Miles Robinson, what's going on with him?
He is fully recovered, so great, awesome that he is our.
Yeah, Greg Berhalter and his crew kind of really messed him up a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
I'm just not gonna say anything about them. But
Yep.
he is healthy, and he is our only senior center back on the roster. So
yes,
I'm
that's
glad
great
he's
news.
fully recovered.
Great
Yes,
news.
Yes.
Someone that can also play in that territory or that position is Jeff Larowitz, but he could be a week or so behind. He had a small procedure on his knee, and as for the new captain for the club, that they have not spoken about that yet. So it's interesting, but I think most people fully expect that Larry is going to be at least the captain or vice captain.
Yeah,
because
and also I don't think the team's been together since they left. So I think
Right.
like once the team gets together for camp,
exactly. I think really, if you are pining for a new, or not pining, but you're going to appoint a new captain, you probably wait until the whole preseason is over, and then you see who has been really leading the camp. But I think it's going to be pretty obvious. But next up is the SuperDraft happened, and the first round and second round at least.
Right.
And
Atlanta United addressed defense. How about that? 6'4"
Yes.
center back Patrick Nielsen was taken with the 23rd pick. He was a redshirt junior at Michigan State. He was all Big Ten second team in 2019. He's 23 years old, going on 24, and he was born in Denmark.
yeah, Copenhagen, Denmark. But and so
Interesting prospect. I think.
interesting prospect, left-footed player, and I think from what his highlights revealed, he is pretty aggressive in the tackle, decent with the ball, and I mean, the size. They all say you can't teach size, and I think he would be a guy that, probably sees more time at LA United 2 for now, and then we'll see, if he can develop. But it seems like, he's got some tools that we need, and it's depth in that territory that we desperately need if we are losing an LGP.
Right, yeah. And
Especially on the left side.
Right, yeah. So we expect him to play with AU2 for this season anyway, so we'll see what he looks like. Right. It's interesting, DeBoer, I think, taking a center back as well, because he's going to have a big hand in what kind of player he wants.
Right, and the next round that we will draft in is on the 13th, and it is the 75th pick of the round number 3. So next up is on the loss of goalkeeper coach Aaron Hyde. He said, quote, "End of December was when Ernie Stewart approached him with the U.S. men's national team opportunity. Bummer to lose him, but we didn't want to stand in his way. We'll close application at the end of the week and hope to make a hire really quickly." It seems like, he knows about the spat that he and DeBoer had, and so we all knew it as well, I think, in terms of, the stories that had already come out.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of an amicable way to wrap that up, but I think that's pretty much what this is, let's let bygones be bygones. And, I mean, it does seem like a good opportunity to, be with the national team for Aaron Hyde, so
Sure.
good for him.
Exactly.
And best of luck to him.
And so, Aberdeen FC,
Aberdeen FC has confirmed the loan signing of John Gallagher from Atlanta United for the rest of the season. He has had 1 goal in 27 appearances, playing on the right wing, forward, and left wing. He's actually made a number of appearances for them.
He's played in the Europa League for them. Gallagher has also played in their League Cup as well, and scored in a big game against the Rangers, I believe. And so, I mean, only 1 goal though, but them extending that, I think, is an extension of the relationship that Aberdeen FC and also Atlanta United have currently. And so I think we'll see more players kind of go this route as well to get some playing time overseas. And, it might be where if he, strikes their fancy so much, he might make that move permanent. So.
That's, and then that'll be an interesting pipeline as well to have that, to Scott. I mean, from MLS to Scottish Premier League, it's not bad. You can do worse.
It really could be worse, but I think if it's between us and them in terms of, the deal being done, then do they get a cut fee? I don't know if that's actually the smartest thing. So we'll see. But and so in terms of Dion Pereira, they have we have mutually agreed to terminate the contract apparently, and so it seems like after Bocanegra spoke with Dion, that they agreed the best solution was that he expressed an interest in returning to England for personal reasons. And so, it seemed like maybe, this is just speculation, but maybe he had some family over there that he was very tight-knit with, and, he really wanted to return and you know, just be a part of their life.
I wouldn't be surprised if homesickness, played a part in this as well. I think that affects more people than, and players than we realize. And then also, it does line up with the other rumors, like particularly with Jack Mulroney.
Yeah, and other wingers that could be brought in.
Yeah, so it does seem like maybe they've been preparing to replace Dion Pereira as well, but best of luck to him as well.
Right, yeah, and of course he had 2 assists across all competitions, one in the Campeones Cup as well, sort of. I think he got the last touch on that.
But to Hyman,
So, we all remember that one. So, but in terms of wingers, there is another rumor that I don't know if I believe. But.
Santiago Rodriguez, he's Uruguayan. He plays for Nacional. This comes from a tweet from Mercado de Pases Uruguay.
The unfortunate thing was that there was only that one tweet that was kind of being mongered as a rumor, but in terms of that account, I just don't really believe because there's really no sourcing, there's no author, there's just a kind of lack of journalism a little bit, and so I think
there are some faint links, and I think there's some things that maybe line up about it, but
he's a hell of a player. He looks really quite tasty of a player, but I just don't know if I believe those links quite yet. But he could be. Stranger things have happened.
And it would make sense to replace Tito Vial, but if we're replacing him, however, Tito was spotted with PD and Eric Rometti at the LA United training ground. And
that's ahead of the January 13th kind of preseason opening for LA United, and so it's good to see the Argentines / Paraguayan hanging out early before and getting into kind of preseason. So that's great. But
it's also one of those things, though. I mean, he's still under contract. They picked up his option.
Exactly, and so it's one of those where he's maybe moving. Who knows? Likely, but
reports suggest that Atlanta would prefer to move him outside of MLS, which makes sense, of course.
But as of right now, he's still an LA United player. So that's he's gonna honor his contract at the moment and still train. I would hope and believe that that's what he would do.
If he wants to move anyway, he's gonna have to train and be fit and be ready. So
exactly. So Atlanta United also announced the club's 2020 preseason plans and all of the at least all the ones that they can announce in terms of friendlies anyway, and that they will be going through training camp at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. They also travel to Birmingham. It's Alabama, not England. And Guadalajara, Mexico, in February. And so there's a ton of things where, in terms of friendlies, where we won't be able to watch it, probably, unfortunately. It's close to the public and also close to the media as well, but
decent competition, a couple of MLS teams. Of course, we play Birmingham, who is a USL team. And then there's the stop in Guadalajara as well, which Bocanegra did say that's partly in preparation for a potential trip to Mexico in the Champions League, if they
it's to emulate that type of trip, and maybe in some kind of high elevation kind of elements, and so making sure that they at least train there to get ready in that respect. But
add in the travel and all that as well, getting used to the jet lag, I guess, and so on, because you're gonna have to. That's part of an MLS season. It's a lot of travel.
Indeed. But so in terms of the only one so far that we know that is open to the public is the Birmingham Legion match, and of course. The season starts on February 29th against Nashville, and no tickets have been at least announced in terms of how to get those quite yet. I think, though, Nashville has been calling people for that. I did get a phone call that I haven't actually been able to return the phone call yet because busy getting this out to you guys. But, but anyway, that pretty much does it for this Transfer Daily. So much to cover. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. But remember to like, share, subscribe. This is Mark. I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.